A billionaire discovers his maid, dancing with his disabled daughter. What happened next shocked everyone. An unexpected twist. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more dramatic, touching, and unexpected stories. Richard Bennett stood alone in his office, a hot cup of coffee in his hands. Outside, through the large glass window, the sky was gray, and heavy clouds were gathering slowly. The city below seemed bustling, but Richard didn't hear it. He was lost in his thoughts, far from business meetings or new contracts. He was thinking about the accident. 3 years ago, he was driving with his wife Claire and their daughter, Emily. It was a happy afternoon. He was singing, laughing. Then the rain started. The roads became slippery, and a truck lost control, slamming violently into their car. Claire didn't survive. Emily, who was 12 at the time, survived, but the accident broke her back. She became disabled and would never walk again. From that day on, she lived in a wheelchair. Richard blinked and looked down at his coffee. Now cold, he had tried to stay strong after the accident, throwing himself into work, telling himself he had to build more, earn more for Emily. He hired nurses, tutors, cooks, and filled her room with books, toys, and even a piano. But nothing had worked. Emily spoke little, smiled no more, refused to go to school or see friends. She spent most of her time in her room, staring out the window or playing the piano softly. Richard didn't know how to help her. Every time he saw her in her wheelchair, a deep pain gripped his heart. He wanted to fix things, but he didn't know how. Sighing, he returned to his desk, trying to focus on his work, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he had lost his wife and daughter that day. There was a knock at the door. "Come in," he said. His assistant entered. "Sir, the new maid Sophia started today. She's 19, from the agency." Richard nodded without paying much attention. "Very well. Do you want her to clean the upstairs hallway too?" He hesitated. "No. Let her stay on the lower floors for now." "Understood," the assistant replied. Sophia, actually 25 years old, had just started working as a maid in Richard Bennett's vast and silent mansion. On her first day, the housekeeper explained the rules. Clean only where asked, don't speak to the family, and never approach the last room at the end of the hallway, Emily's room, Mr. Bennett's daughter. Sophia only knew that Emily was disabled and lived in a wheelchair. The staff said she neither spoke nor smiled, and some claimed she hadn't left her room in years. On a quiet afternoon while cleaning upstairs, Sophia began to hum a soft melody, a song her mother used to sing to her as a child. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." The melody floated down the hallway. She didn't realize it could be heard clearly. Suddenly she heard a faint click. She turned around. The last door, the one she had been forbidden to approach, was opening slowly. Then something shocking happened. A young girl appeared in the doorway, about 15 years old, with long brown hair and tired eyes. She was standing. "Where did you learn that song?" she asked softly. Sophia stepped forward slowly. "My mother sang it to me when I was little." Tears filled the girl's eyes. "My mother sang it to me too." She took a trembling step and immediately fell. "Emily!" cried Sophia, rushing to her side. Without hesitation, she gently helped the young girl get back up and into her wheelchair. Emily gripped the armrests tightly, breathing rapidly. Sophia knelt in front of her and looked into her eyes. "You just walked?" Emily, shocked, looked away. "You have to tell your father," Sophia said softly. "It's something he needs to know." "No," Emily replied sharply in a weak but firm voice. "Don't tell him." Sophia paused. "Why not?" "He's too busy to care about me," Emily murmured. "He just works. I don't even think he notices I'm still here." Sophia's heart tightened. She sat beside her and took her hand. "That's not true. You matter more than you know." Emily looked down at their joined hands. "I thought no one would ever talk to me again. But you did." Sophia smiled gently. "That's what friends do." A small smile formed on Emily's lips. "Will you sing it again?" "I'll sing it every day if you want," Sophia replied. And from that day on, something changed. Not just in Emily's room, but in her heart. For the first time in years, she no longer felt invisible. She felt seen. The next afternoon, sunlight filtered softly through the windows of the large house. Sophia returned to the hallway in front of Emily's room, holding a small music player. When she opened the door, Emily was already waiting in her wheelchair, a smile on her lips. "You're back, Happy." "I promised you," Sophia replied. She placed the player on the table and pressed play. The same soft melody began. "You are my sunshine." The piano notes filled the room like warm light. Sophia smiled and stepped to the center of the room. She twirled gently and clapped her hands as she had before. "Ready?" she asked. Emily nodded. Sophia moved behind the wheelchair and turned it slowly in a wide, careful circle. Emily raised her arms and moved them to the rhythm of the music, laughing. They danced together, Sophia guiding the wheelchair while Emily moved her arms in time. It wasn't a fast or sophisticated dance, but it was full of emotion. Gentle, pure, magnificent. Then something even more magical happened. Emily began to sing. Her voice was shy at first, almost hesitant. "You are my sunshine. My only sunshine?" Sophia joined her softly. "You make me happy when skies are gray." Their voices filled the room, mingled with music, laughter, and joy. It was as if the house itself was waking up. What they didn't know was that Mr. Bennet had come home earlier that day. He had left a meeting, tired and restless, driven by an intuition to return home. As he entered, the housekeeper rushed to him. "Sir," she said nervously, "there's something you need to know. The new maid, Sophia, is with your daughter." "How so?" Bennet asked. "She's in her room," the housekeeper replied worriedly. "She's playing music, dancing." But Bennet frowned and hurried upstairs, followed by the murmurs of the staff who thought he would get angry and fire Sophia. But when he opened the door, he froze. There in the room, his daughter was smiling, singing, dancing. He stood silently as Emily and Sophia finished the song. When the music stopped, Emily turned and saw him. Her smile faded. "Dad." Sophia stood up quickly. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break the rules." But Mr. Bennet raised his hand gently. "Wait," he said softly. He stepped slowly into the room, eyes fixed on his daughter. "You were singing, sweetie." Emily nodded slowly. "You were dancing," he murmured. "I was happy," she replied in a trembling voice. Mr. Bennet took a deep breath, his eyes moist. "I haven't seen you smile in years." And to everyone's surprise, he smiled back. The room fell silent after the song ended. Emily, in her wheelchair, felt her heart beating fast. She had never seen her father like this. His strong face softened, his eyes wet with tears. The housekeeper stood near the door, frozen, not knowing what would happen. Mr. Bennet approached his daughter. "I can't believe it," he said, kneeling beside her. "You were dancing, singing." Emily looked down. "It's thanks to Sophia. She helped me remember what joy feels like." Mr. Bennet turned to Sophia. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "I thought I'd lost her forever." Sophia smiled. "She was never lost, sir. She just needed someone to see her." For a moment, no one spoke. Then Mr. Bennet stood and walked to the window. He looked outside, then turned to his daughter. "I've spent so many years working," he said softly, "trying to fill this house with everything money could buy. But I forgot the one thing money can't give me. You." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "You stopped looking at me after Mom died." Mr. Bennet's voice broke. "Because every time I looked at you, I saw her, and it hurt too much. But I never stopped loving you, Emily. I just didn't know how to show it." "I thought you didn't care," she said. "I'm sorry," he murmured, kneeling again before her. "From now on, I'll listen. I'll sit with you. I'll sing if you want. I promise." Emily smiled and reached out her hand. He held it tightly. The housekeeper stepped forward, still worried. "Sir, about Sophia. Should we—" Mr. Bennet shook his head quickly. Sophia isn't just a maid. She's the reason my daughter smiled today. She stays." The other staff exchanged surprised and somewhat relieved glances. In the days that followed, everything began to change. Sophia continued to visit Emily every afternoon. She danced, sang, and even painted. Music returned to the house, music full of life. Mr. Bennet made an effort to come home earlier. Sometimes he joined them. One evening he even sang with her in a voice that wasn't very tuneful but made Emily laugh. He also made another decision. He created a small charity foundation in his wife's name to help children living with disabilities. Emily helped design the logo, and Sophia suggested the name Sunny Hope. One evening, as Sophia pushed Emily into the garden to enjoy the breeze, Emily said, "You've changed my life." Sophia smiled. "You've changed mine too." "Do you think we can really make a difference?" Emily asked. "You've already done it," Sophia replied. As the sun set, Mr. Bennet joined them outside, bringing 3 cups of hot cocoa. They sat together, not a lonely billionaire, a sad girl, and a quiet maid, but a new kind of family. And for the first time in a long time, the house was full of light. After that surprising moment when Emily had stood up for the first time upon hearing Sophia's song, they had begun training in secret, determined to strengthen her ability to stand. Every day, behind closed doors, Sophia gently helped Emily try to get up. It wasn't easy. Her legs, weakened by years of immobility, trembled, and she often lost her balance. But she didn't give up. The doctors had deemed it impossible. "Just a little more each day," Sophia would murmur with an encouraging smile. Together they turned difficult moments into instants of hope. Mr. Bennet's birthday was approaching, a day he hadn't celebrated in years, marked by silence and painful memories of his late wife. "I want to stand in front of him," Emily confided one night to Sophia, her eyes shining with determination. "After all this training, even if it's just for a moment, I want him to see me standing again." Sophia nodded. "We'll make it happen. It'll be the most memorable birthday he's ever had." They continued their secret efforts, and little by little, Emily gained strength. The long-awaited day finally arrived. Emily and Sophia, now 25 and an essential part of their lives, had spent the morning preparing a surprise. They had bought a small cake from the neighborhood bakery, just big enough for 3, and placed candles on it. That evening, Emily, sitting in her wheelchair, waited near the door, her face radiant with excitement. When Mr. Bennet returned, she greeted him with a wide smile. "Happy birthday, Dad," she said in a soft voice. Surprised, he replied, "You remembered?" "We both remembered," Sophia added, stepping forward with the cake, a warm smile on her lips. It was a simple scene, just the 3 of them, bathed in the soft glow of the candles. Mr. Bennet hadn't celebrated his birthday since his wife's death, but this moment felt different, infused with a new warmth. He sat down, and Emily rolled the cake toward him. "Make a wish," she said with a smile. He looked at her, then at Sophia, and his heart swelled with a gratitude he hadn't felt in years. Not knowing what to wish for, as this instant already seemed perfect, he blew out the candles. They clapped softly, their laughter filling the room. After cutting a slice of cake, Emily watched them and said, "Sophia, Dad, can you come stand beside me?" Intrigued, they approached and positioned themselves on either side of her wheelchair. "Take my hands," she murmured. Compliant and confident, each took one of her hands. Then, with a deep breath and immense courage, Emily stood up. Her legs trembled, her balance wavered, but she was standing. Tears shone in Sophia's eyes. Mr. Bennet froze, breathless, unable to believe what he was seeing. Before he could speak, Emily took a trembling step, then another. She stumbled, but Sophia supported her gently. Emily then turned to her father and with effort took a few steps toward him. When she reached him, she threw herself into his arms for a fragile but loving embrace. Mr. Bennet held her tightly, tears rolling down his cheeks. "You walked," he murmured, his voice breaking. Emily, beaming, replied, "I promised you a surprise." He turned to Sophia, his eyes full of emotion. A warmth he hadn't felt in years grew within him, mixed with gratitude and a deeper feeling he didn't yet dare name. "Thank you so much," he said, his voice trembling. The doctors told me she'd never walk again. You've given me back my daughter." In a spontaneous impulse, he stepped forward and kissed Sophia. Surprised, she hesitated for a moment, then returned his kiss softly, comforting his mingled pain and joy. Emily watched them, a radiant smile on her face, her heart full. It was the beginning of something magnificent. A few weeks earlier, on a peaceful night, Mr. Bennet had come home late from work. The house was silent, but he noticed Emily's bedroom door was slightly ajar. Peeking in, he saw Sophia, who hadn't gone home yet, sitting beside Emily, reading her a book in a soft, soothing voice. Emily, in her wheelchair, listened with a serene expression. Mr. Bennet paused in the hallway, a discreet smile on his lips, touched by their bond. Without interrupting them, he quietly walked away. Happiness was slowly returning to the once cold and silent home. It now vibrated with life. Warm lights shone from the windows. Laughter and songs echoed through the corridors, and the air felt lighter. Emily smiled more often, her eyes sparkling with a new light. She laughed at Sophia's funny stories, played piano with enthusiasm, and seemed to rediscover her inner strength. Mr. Bennet was changing too. His nights of worry grew fewer, his sleep improved, and his face, once fixed in gravity, softened. He often paused near Emily's door, silently watching his daughter and Sophia. So close, so full of life. One morning, Mr. Bennet woke up in a strangely quiet house. The room seemed too silent, as if the rediscovered warmth of the home had temporarily faded. He expected to see Sophia cleaning or humming softly, but she was absent. "Where's Sophia?" he asked the cook. "She didn't come today, sir. She called to say she was sick, a severe flu," he replied. Mr. Bennet paused, concerned. Sick. It was unusual. Sophia, always full of energy, had never missed a day of work since arriving. He sat on the couch looking around. Without Sophia's vibrant presence, the house felt empty, almost like before she came. Emily, his 15-year-old daughter in her wheelchair, remained silent, staring at the door as if hoping to see Sophia enter with her usual cheer. "Good morning, Princess," Mr. Bennet sighed. In just a few weeks, Sophia, 25 years old, had transformed their lives. Before her, Emily smiled rarely and spoke little. Now she laughed, shared her dreams, and cherished every moment with Sophia, whether reading, dancing in her chair, or chatting. He pulled out his phone and called Sophia. The ringtone sounded, but no one answered. He tried again without success. She must be really sick, he thought, maybe too weak to talk. An intuition urged him to act. He stood, grabbed his keys, and headed for the door. "Sir, are you going out?" the driver asked. "Yes," Mr. Bennet replied. "I need to see someone." He drove to the address listed on Sophia's application in a small neighborhood near the city. On the way, he reflected on how one person could change so much. She's just a maid. And yet, without her, the house feels empty. Emily is sad, and even I am worried. Sophia was different. Her kindness, honesty, and inner light touched everyone. She didn't treat him like a wealthy employer, but like a man. And she loved Emily like a sister. Arriving in the neighborhood, he stopped in front of a small blue house. The homes were modest, crowded together, and children played in the dusty streets. He knocked gently on the wooden door. No answer. He knocked again. Finally, the door opened slowly, and a weak voice murmured, "Mr. Bennet?" It was Sophia, pale with tired eyes but trying to smile. Without a word, he gently took her in his arms. "Sir, it's okay," she murmured weakly. He shook his head. "You need help. Don't argue." He carried her carefully to his car, settling her comfortably in the back, and drove to the nearest pharmacy. Along the way, he glanced in the rearview mirror, worried to see her so weakened. His heart tightened. At the pharmacy, he explained the situation to the pharmacist, who provided medications for fever, flu, and pain, along with vitamins and fruit. Then he brought Sophia back to the house. The staff was surprised to see him arrive carrying her. "Sir, is she okay?" the housekeeper asked. "I want all the staff to take a week off," he replied calmly. "I want to take care of her myself for everything she's done for us." Though surprised, the staff respectfully agreed, packed their things, and left the house. Now it was just Mr. Bennet, Emily, and Sophia. He settled Sophia in the large guest room, placed a glass of hot water beside her, and gave her the medications. "Rest now," he said softly, sitting at her bedside. Over the next few days, Mr. Bennet took care of everything. He prepared simple meals, cleaned the room, and helped Sophia sit up to eat. Emily stayed close, telling her stories, drawing pictures, and sharing moments of closeness. Sophia, touched by so much attention, gradually regained her strength. With rest, medicine, and their care, her face lit up again. Each day the three of them laughed, talked, and shared meals together. In just a few days, something wonderful happened. Sophia, Bennet, and Emily became more than an employer, a maid, and a teenager. They became a family united by love, gratitude, and rediscovered joy.